forest fire as well as creating jobs in these communities.
And we have to do that in California, by the way.
Yes, sir.
California's a mess. We're giving billions and billions of dollars for forest fires in California. There's no reason for those fires to be like they are. They're leaving them dirty. It's a disgraceful thing. Old trees are sitting there rotting and dry. And instead of cleaning it up, they don't touch them. They leave them. And we end up with these massive fires that we're paying hundreds of billions of dollars to fix. And the destruction is incredible. So I think California ought to get their act together and clean up their forests and manage their forests, because it's disgraceful. What's happening should never happen. I go all over the country and I meet with governors. The first thing they say is there's no reason for forest fires like that in California. So I say to the governor, or whoever's going to be the governor of California, you better get your act together.
My heart goes out, obviously, to the people with their homes, and I'm watching the small businesses around us go up in flames. This is people's livelihoods, so it's devastating. But what is most concerning to me is our first responders and our firefighters who are trying to battle this. There's no water in the Palisades. There's no water coming out of the fire hydrants. This is an absolute mismanagement by the city. It's not the firefighters' fault, but it's by the city. And I'm going to be very honest. We've got a mayor that's out of the country, and we've got a city that's burning, and there's no resources to put out fires. So if you look at your pictures, you don't see the firefighters there because there's nothing they can do. And it looks like we're in a third world country here. Mm-hmm. And we've got a lot of tough questions that we need to ask the mayor and the city council and our representatives and the county representatives. Why didn't you work to mitigate this? What was your brush mitigation program? I heard you earlier talking about it's been dry because there hasn't been rain. That's not the biggest problem here. The brush up in these hills that are controlled by the city and the county, I would bet you that if they haven't been handled, mitigated, pruned, removed for probably 30 or 40 years. This was a disaster waiting to happen. And what's predictable is preventable. And who's paying the price are all of these people in their homes and their businesses tonight. Now, we'll rebuild, but the majority of this community is going to have a tough time rebuilding.
Be leaders ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Black women are being used by the Democrat Party.
All of these socioeconomic indicators are in the negative, particularly for black people.
They want mob rule. When Trump was in office, please somebody tell me what act of dictatorship did he perform?
She had Donald Trump's hair on top of her head. And she's sitting here talking about brown girl this, brown girl that.
Because she's a black woman.
They would ask her how to spell her first name and clap like sea monkeys.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
What's up, everybody? It's Wednesday and it's time for Pop and Politics. I'm KJ. Let me introduce you to my co-host. Of course, back with us is Nicole Bennett. She is the director of the Black Conservative Federation, and Shelly E. Before we dive in, do me a favor, folks, tap that thumbs up and subscribe right now. We're on YouTube and Rumble, and you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. We love our chat, so we shout out all of our super chats. So it's the best way to get your voice heard in the conversation and to show your love for conservative content. This is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us and subscribe so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, ladies, let's set it off. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We are starting out, of course, with these wildfires. So those clips were from the wildfires. As you can see, President Trump was talking about this potential threat many years ago. He was warning everyone about it. Apparently, nothing has been done. Nicole, what are your thoughts on this?
It is devastating to watch California burn unnecessarily, to watch California burn. We have brush fires here in Maryland. We have controlled burns here in Maryland. Most of our firefighters are volunteers, just people in the community who have the appropriate training. And it boggles my mind why California just won't get this under control. I understand that they have a fairly strong eco lobby that doesn't want them to cut the snags, or we call the dead trees, down. But at some point you have to weigh human life versus the life of whatever animal or habitat you're trying to save. People have a right to live peacefully, and California government has let them down.
Yeah. Shelley, you saw that was billionaire real estate developer Rick Caruso said it's like a third world country now. Could this have been avoided?
I think so. Look, when I was the younger little girl, I don't remember California burning like this. And as an adult, I don't know who does it better, the forest fire or BLM. But nevertheless, since Prometheus, discovered fire, and since the caveman days, slash and burn, if you want to put it like that, or controlled burns usually work. Right? The old methods. Let's go back to the basics, right? But we have a lot of bureaucrats. We have all of these experts who cannot, or I would rather say will not, control the forest fires, because I think they are overly clouded by this climate agenda. But you're right. Are you going to worry about the climate agenda, or are you going to worry about people's lives?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that's what's happening.
Exactly. And we have a clip here of actor James Woods in tears after seeing what is going on there and what's happened to his family and his home. This is clip 14. Take a look.
I'm 77 years old, man. I can't walk up these hills. It's like Mount Everest there. It's like, pretty steep. So, it's just I posted this on X, but Sarah was on with her 8-year-old niece last night. And she came out. I'm sorry. Just, one day you're swimming in the pool and the next day it's all gone. But she came out with her little Yeti piggy bank for us to rebuild our house.
Oh my gosh. James Woods, we all hope that you will be able to rebuild your house, maybe starting with that little Yeti piggy bank. And we're just glad that you're okay and your wife is okay.
I'm sorry,
you have your lives. Yeah, no, I mean, this is real and it's raw.
I thought I
and
would be stronger than this.
You know what? Strength is not measured by whether, you hold in crying or not. Strength is what you are doing now and helping your neighbors and shining a light on the great, amazing work of all those firefighters and emergency crews out there. You have so much strength, and we appreciate you coming on to reflect what so many others just like you are experiencing in that raw emotion right now. We wish you the best, you and your wife, as you rebuild your lives. So many people are doing that right now and trying to process what's going on. So, James, and also keep us posted on your 94-year-old neighbor and everything going there. We're going to continue to talk, and we wish you the very best.
He's okay.
Yeah.
They found him. He's in the hospital.
He's okay. Yeah.
I just worry. If anybody knows where Robert Trinkteller is, call me. Let me know. All right.
That's an important message. And also there's this app that's really important.
Wow. So again, it's not only the wildfires though, but as we've mentioned here, they've got a lot of additional issues. So fire hydrants have been running dry and the mayor is thousands of miles away. So Mayor Karen Bass, who is a Democrat, apparently she left for Ghana on some trip as a person going on behalf of Biden. I mean, it's the Department of Water and Power admitted that water scarcity was an issue, but said the crews were working in the affected areas to ensure the availability of water supplies. I mean, this is a mess.
We got a whole big ocean, Pacific Ocean, if I'm not mistaken, and they still can't get enough water to put the fires out in California. Again, this didn't happen decades ago. It seems to have happened, and increasingly so, under these leftist woke administrations, people who are managing or supposedly managing and running the state, let alone parts of the country. The mayor skipped town, right? Skipped town. That fire just didn't start yesterday. So she skipped town, made sure she's safe, got out of Dodge. She got out of Dodge, yes.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. And like you mentioned, Shelley, we didn't hear about these types of things when we were children or many years ago. And so personally, I think it has something to do with chemtrails. Take a look here. This is clip 9.
The modern chemtrail theory began to take shape in the late 1990s and early 2000s when observers noticed the unusual persistence in these trails, forming hazy patterns, sometimes seeming like a deliberate crisscross in the sky. Many began to question whether something unusual was occurring in the upper atmosphere. The release of a 1996 US Air Force report titled Weather as a Force Multiplier, Owning the Weather in 2025, added fuel to the fire. The document speculated on future military uses of weather modification technology, including its potential to enhance or disrupt military operations. Around the same time, growing attention was being paid to the HAARP research facility in Alaska, a high-frequency ionosphere research program suspected by some to be part of secret experiments.
Yeah, that's just a bit of what we have been seeing on these chemtrails. And they mentioned this report. The U.S. Air Force put out a study. The report explored the potential for leveraging weather modification as a tool to enhance military operations. So this has been kind of on a conspiracy theory circles for a long time now. But as we know, many of these conspiracy theories have been said to come true. And this is one of them. So when you go to mainstream media sources, they say, oh, it's not anything to do with chemtrails. It's something from the airline and it's their exhaust that's coming out. But we know that exhaust disappears. The chemtrails, if you look up, they last in the sky. And so then, there've been more research showing how there are particles, elements within the atmosphere that have not been there. There's new particles that have come about. So this is very peculiar. And what do you all think about that? Have you heard anything about these chemtrails and how they've manipulated the weather? I want to hear about you guys in the chat as well, if you guys heard about it.
Listen, welcome to the rabbit hole, KJ. I absolutely believe that there are lots of things going on, right? There's a myriad of things that go on. And as an American, there are some of the things that are happening that I'm gleefully happy, blissfully ignorant of, that I don't want to know, right? But there are some things that just make good sense. And as you were saying, the people who argue that those designs in the sky are just exhaust, well, exhaust doesn't last that long, right? I mean, when they're literally making like an Argyle-shaped display in the sky, that's not exhaust. It's not exhaust. So there are a lot of factors going on, but mostly what you hear when people are talking about these wildfires in California are people who are talking about climate change and there are too many people, and that kind of thing, which is interesting because California's population is dwindling. They're all picking up, moving to red states to have a better quality of life. Not mad at them for that. But there's definitely some mismanagement here at the highest level. They have billions of dollars in their economy, not millions, billions. And they just spend it in a way that puts people last and everything else first. And we've got to stop doing that. As a Christian person, God gave us dominion over this earth, gave man dominion over the earth. These butterflies are beautiful. Don't get me wrong. Love a nice, pretty butterfly. Love all of that. But not enough to let my house burn down with all of my family's memories and all of my mementos. You can rebuild the house, but pictures and that kind of thing, you're never going to get back again.
Yeah.
And the loss of life, oh my gosh, pets that are gone forever and ever.
Yeah, you're right. I know, like I said, I tend to dwell in conspiracy theories and things like that, but at least we can talk about it now on the internet because we are seeing the veil of censorship lifted throughout social media. And I want to get into that in a moment. I do want to acknowledge our super chatters. All right, so let's see who we have here. We have Teresa Raimundo with the $5 super chat says, "Good evening, my Poppin' Politics friends. I love that you speak of liberty and truth. Thank you. Thank you, Teresa.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. And I think we had one more. All right. We have here. Oops. Okay.
That's us. We had one more.
Yep. And keep those likes up, guys. We definitely have so many people watching. We don't have nearly the same amount of likes. So hit that like button. It certainly helps to increase our reach here on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So I want to move on now to, speaking of social media and censorship, Meta. So last week, Meta announced it was hiring Joel Kaplan, a longtime proponent of robust speech, to lead its global policy team. And Mark Zuckerberg announced this week massive changes at Meta, admits the company went too far with censoring Americans. This is clip one. Take a look.
Hey everyone. I want to talk about something important today because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. I started building social media to give people a voice. I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression, and I still believe this today. But a lot has happened over the last several years. There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more. A lot of this is clearly political, but there's also a lot of legitimately bad stuff out there. Drugs, terrorism, child exploitation. These are things that we take very seriously, and I want to make sure that we handle responsibly. So we built a lot of complex systems to moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people. And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on.
Wow. So no more censorship. All right, let's get into this, lady. Shelly, do you believe him?
I got to say something. Krista, this is for you. So I was listening to this today and some other thoughts, and I said, oh my gosh, honey, Trump is delectable. Delectable. I'm going to be in honey high heaven. Trump is all over the world, okay? I heard someone say today on some show that we have new family members. Trump has new family members. Mark Zuckerberg Trump. And then you got Jeff Bezos Trump, right? So this is a good thing. Yeah, I'll give credit where credit is due. This is a good thing. It's also an acknowledgement, like you said, KJ, earlier, the conspiracy theories come true. It's also an acknowledgement that they were censoring, and he said it, mostly conservatives. And yes, it's in the right direction. By the way, does Mark Zuckerberg look like he's trying to transition to a girl?
I thought he looked better. I was thinking he looked better.
Listen, that curly fro is cultural.
But no, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. I like how he kind of distanced himself from the fact check. He called them the fact checkers. No, these are your fact checkers. Right. You hired them. You put them in the building. So let's just take a little bit more ownership there. But overall, of course, this is a good thing. Free speech. It's America. There's supposed to be free speech. You don't have to like everyone's free speech. You don't have to like what they say. You don't have to agree with them. But damn it, they get to say it.
Yeah. Before I get you in on this, Nicole, I want to acknowledge our super chatters here because we have a bunch of people here. Let's see. All right. We have Tina with the $10 super chat. Thank you. Says the people of California need to stop voting in these libtards. Yes. Hopefully they will open their eyes now. It's such a shame. Totally agree, Tina. We'll see at the next election. All right. Kung Fu CJ says, click that like button and share. Thank you. Absolutely. Yeah. I want to get you to respond to this, Nicole. This is Stephen A. Smith. So he is reacting to the news of by Mark Zuckerberg of the release of censorship, and he's got pretty glaring opinion on this. This is clip 10.
As a journalist, as a member of the media for the past 30 years, I think it's absolutely appalling to watch him shift so dramatically the way that he has. But here's the thing. It's also very understandable because this is a guy that was all about the people, all about free speech, all about free expression and what have you. But then you went about the business of literally limiting conservative voices, of vax skeptics along with other people. And so you did that, and some people accused you of influencing the election in 2020. Why? Because the Zuckerberg Initiative, led by his wife, donated about $420 million to causes that they believe help the Democratic cause. So if you're Trump, you're saying, I remember all of this. I remember how you came at me. I remember how you tried to backdoor me and you helped to facilitate booting me out of office. Well, now I'm back in power. And not only am I back in power, I got my man Elon Musk with me, your competition over at X. So all of a sudden, you're looking at Mark Zuckerberg and you clearly see him essentially, figuratively speaking, on his knees trying to make amends.
All right, Nicole, does he have a point?
He's got a point. He ain't wrong. He ain't wrong. Let me tell you, this is the Trump effect that we were all voting for, right? The world is changing right before our very eyes. If Kamala Harris, God forbid, I hate to say it, would have won this election, we would face even more censorship. They would be trying to moderate all speech at all times because in their mind, unless it's on their narrative, using their words and their quote unquote terminology, which is not basic English, because I refuse to be a cisgendered anything. Right. Let's just go there. But he would not have made that change. He's a savvy businessman, and we know that to be factual. We also know that European nations have come down hard on him. I mean, really, really down hard on him. And so this was a wise business decision, absolutely a wise business decision on his part. And I love this new energy from Stephen A, where he's like, trying to call it like it is a little bit more instead of just drinking the Kool-Aid like he used to do. I might like him a little bit, just a smidge. Yeah.
Well, we have to respond to The View. So they have sounded off on this whole thing. And it was just dropped recently, what they said. I want you guys to take a look at this. This is clip 15.
Curious, because human rights activists warn that this is a major step back that'll have misinformation, conspiracy theories, and bigotry running wild on the site. My question is, when did fact-checking become a bad thing?
Since Donald Trump became president.
Yes.
Absolutely. I have said from the giddy up that the worst thing that he has done is cause this misinformation and lying going on.
Alternative facts.
This alternative facts that Kellyanne Conway, she said alternative facts. This guy Zuckerberg, I saw the movie, wasn't it Social Network?
Yes.
Where he says basically, I'm creating Facebook so people have a community, so that people can talk to each other. All of a sudden, it's become this big thing about, and a big lying machine that's going on. And, the wokeness is what at the bottom of this.
Yeah, I just want to say, I'm sorry, if being woke is a bad thing, that means that the fact that I care about you, regardless of what you say or who you are, I want to make sure your family is as well off as mine is. That's too woke. It's too woke for me to say to you, hey, listen, if your kids, you don't want your kids reading this, maybe the best thing to do is let's go to the library together and I'll tell the librarian what I don't mind my kids reading, and then you can tell the librarian what you don't want your kids to read. That's too woke.
Well, I'm going to just reject the fact that we don't know what a fact is.
Really?
I reject it outright. There is a difference between opinion and fact. And there is, journalists, like people that are, work for the New York Times, they know how to fact check. Journalism students are taught. You fact check 3 different sources.
Journalists have gotten things wrong, though.
So this notion that, the reason that they're doing this is because, they can't fact check it.
But free speech gives you a right to be wrong. I have a right to post something that's inaccurate. I have a right to say the grass is blue.
Facts are different.
That shouldn't be taken down simply because it's fact, not true.
Disinformation is different. And so I think what you're finding is this company is also getting rid of content restrictions on topics like gender identity and immigration. Calling women, by the way, household objects is now permitted on Facebook.
But do you think it shouldn't be as much?
Users are now allowed to, for example, refer to women as household objects.
It's an interesting conversation.
Let's take a break because
I need to.
Alyssa needs to speak up a little bit. Now, you all know I don't like her at all. And I think she's only changing her tune to becoming a little more conservative because now conservatives, are cool. Right. Mm-hmm. Trump won. Mm-hmm. And so now she's okay to actually be conservative. So she's fake. She's phony. I don't like her. But let's unpack exactly what they said. So I want to talk about what social media was before Trump won the election. Mm-hmm. It was uncensored. It was a place you connected with high school friends where people like Justin Bieber were discovered. It was free. It was a place you could talk about anything. Anybody could become a pundit. You could agree, you could disagree. But when Trump won the election is when they lost their minds because they could not control what people heard. They couldn't control what people looked up. And so they decided to use it as a weapon against conservatives and against Trump because he came to fame.
Exactly. Let's talk about some other facts that Sonny, wants to gloss over. I think Mark Zuckerberg should put those fact checkers on The View. Before I go into my facts, I'm going to point you all to the nice shirt that I'm wearing here. It says, not black, not white, but American. Don't let them divide us. You can get it on our website, poppinpoliticslive.com. Go to the shop button and shop your heart away. Buy as much as you want and help support us and let us know that you bought the items and wear them as well. So back to the facts. Now, one fact is Hillary Clinton lied. Hillary Clinton also, the fact, paid for the Russiagate scam. Mm-hmm. Those were facts too. There's also a fact. She mentioned women. Women have vaginas and breasts. Men don't. Those are facts too. Women are not men. Men are not women. Those are facts too. Been facts since time began.
And they were all censored.
They were all censored. And the one fact that she hates that I happen to love, Trump won. Delectable. It's like honey down your throat. So those are facts too, Sonny. Get a grip.
Yeah. Nicole, so one thing I want to talk about, what Whoopi said, she was talking about woke. There's nothing wrong with woke. Woke is, getting inclusivity and all this. Do you agree with what she said about that?
Of course not. I don't think I've ever agreed with this woman ever on anything. Probably one of the most unfunny comedians that ever graced the stage or hold a microphone. But all of that said, what she's trying to do is what Democrats typically do. They try to reclaim language. Mm-hmm. Words like disinformation and misinformation. We used to just call them straight up lies, right? It's a lie. If it's not true, it's a lie. Now you have to discern whether it's disinformation or misinformation. Misinformation being something that was unknowingly false, right? Which is a lie. Or something that's deliberately false, which is still a lie. Right. Save yourself all those extra characters and just LIE, right? Just a lie. But she's trying to reclaim it and make it something soft and genteel, something again. But we all know what they mean when they say woke. Mm-hmm. This is not the woke of the early 70s. That's not what they're talking about. The kind of woke that she's trying to reclaim is what we talk about when we talk about people having issues. Mm-hmm. And I'm not trying to be mean to any particular subset of people, but if you are a person who is confused about your gender, and you call yourself a woman, and you're definitely a man, penis intact man, that's woke in this day and time. There's nothing true about it. It's not factual. It's not disinformation, misinformation. If you have a penis, hear me clearly, America, that makes you male. Mm-hmm. That makes you male. I don't care if you tuck it, stuff it, tape it on down. It makes you a man. That is what a man is. That is a fact. And there's no soft shoeing that Whoopi Goldberg can do to make that any different. And I'm glad that Facebook is finally going back to what it used to be. You know, people used to go on Facebook just to plant crops. You remember that game, Farmville, and catch up with your friends?
And what was she talking about, Whoopi? We're talking about, you know, if she cares about Wench, you don't give a damn about how much money anybody else makes, or you're not that concerned. Stop playing games, okay? You know, don't play games with me. Like Judge Judy says, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining.
And that's
okay?
exactly what she's trying to do. That's exactly what she's trying to do. And you're not only going to hear it from Whoopi, but you're going to hear it from everyone that they consider to be a thought leader, where they're going to try to reclaim language. But the truth of the matter is, what Donald Trump has done is he's broken down those floodgates, and people are getting their information from alternative sources.
Exactly.
Like this.
And that's what they do
And
now.
they can't stand it because they can't control it. They can't call up and say, you know, hey, YouTube, I want you to shut off Pop and Politics because, you know, she's on Whoopi Goldberg's case. They can't do that anymore. And Zuckerberg finally has come, you know, to the table and said, yes, they made me do this.
Right. And this is why independent media is so important.
Absolutely.
And thanks to people like you all, patriots who love America and stand for truth, we're actually making a difference. Together, we've turned them off, called out their lies and propaganda, and held them accountable for their disdain for God-fearing, freedom-loving Americans like us. But we can't stop here. It's time to take action with your dollars. Let's make 2025 the year we double down on our commitment to values-driven choices. Vote your dollars, support Made in America, and back companies that honor our families, faith, and country. We found an exciting way to make this switch, and we want you all to join us. Check out www.popandswitch.com and click, yes, I want to make the switch. It's that easy. It's time to walk away from corporations like BlackRock and Vanguard that undermine our principles. Let's invest in America. Let's support businesses that share our love for this country. You don't have to do everything at once, but you can start here. Join us in making one small but powerful step. Visit www.popandswitch.com and click the link and schedule a call with someone from our team. Together, we can create real change. All right. And so one other thing I want to talk about is the difference between hate speech and free speech. Shelley, is there a difference?
Is that disinformation or misinformation?
Right.
I mean,
right.
Which one is it? You know, is it live or is it Memorex?
Right.
Free speech is free speech. I pulled up, you know, my faithful Constitution here. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government, I can't even see, for a redress of grievances. So I don't even know what hate speech is, except I will say this. Hate speech to me is if you are threatening someone, right? You're threatening someone's life, someone's livelihood, you know, on social media, whatever the case may be. That may be hate speech. Does a person have a right to threaten? They can speak the words, but there are laws and rules and regulations to, you know, to deal with that. To anything else, to me, I just may not like it. You may not like it, but no, I don't want to shut you up. And I think this conversation needs to be had more and more on social media, left circles, liberal circles, conservative circles, because you know me, you know, I've said it before, even in conservative circles, you know, some of us like, well, they can't say that, or they shouldn't say that. And, you know, that's your opinion, fine. But to make some rules and regulations around it, to me, only takes us backwards and not even honoring our Constitution.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, do I agree with everyone on the right? No. You know, there are some people, look at Candace Owens for example. She is, you know, she has really joined sort of like the conspiracy theory group. And I agree with some of the things she says. Some things I don't. Some things, but all of it I want to research on my own.
Right.
And there's space for the debate to be had.
That's what
So if we don't agree on everything, Candace Owens, who's the other, Alex Jones, any of these people, if you don't agree, that's fine. You can disagree. You can look it up your own, start your own podcast and say, hey, I looked this up and I don't agree with these people. Or I looked this up and they're actually right. They're telling the truth about this. And mainstream media needs to get on board. But we don't need to take them down. We don't need to censor them. They should not be deplatformed for this kind of stuff. And this is what the left wants to do. And unfortunately, as you mentioned, Shelley, some on the right. And it's not right. It's not being a conservative. It's not being a patriot.
What it is controlling. Is exactly what it is. This is a form of control. You know, there's an old adage that you can't walk into a crowded theater and scream fire, right? Well, you know, some people will say that calling someone who considers themselves, you know, a woman who's not a woman, I hate to keep using that example, by calling them a name, they're threatened and they're feeling some kind of way. Because you're offended doesn't make it hate speech. You know, people use the N-word as an example of, if somebody called you that, wouldn't you want people to come? No, I wouldn't want you to come to my rescue. I want you to hold my bag because you're going to get all these hands. You can say what you want to say, but there are repercussions to the words that you choose.
Right.
When you're talking about conversation in the public square, using social media, this is the new public square, right? People are keyboard warriors and they got a lot of tough stuff to say. You know, politically, I've had so many fake profiles and websites, and I've been doxxed 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 times. All of that is a part of the process. You get angry, you get mad, you find the jerk's IP address, you chase them down, and you have some very sharp words, but none of it is about, oh, I want to ruin his life because he has a bad opinion of me. He's entitled to his opinion. Do I think he's wrong? Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely wrong, but he has the divine right to be wrong. Right. In that wrongness, though, there may be repercussions.
There may be, right?
There may be things that come, but that is what we are as Americans about. It is what separates us from the rest of the world. Free speech is just that.
Free speech.
Hate speech, you know, again, there are certain things that people don't like. When you say, oh, like me, you call me cisgendered, I'm feeling some kind of way. It makes my eye twitch. What? What you say? What you say? What you say? However, it's not hate speech.
Exactly.
It is not hate speech.
I want you guys to sound off in the chat. I mean, I'm curious to see what you think on this. Do you guys agree that the censorship should be removed on social media? You know, our platform shouldn't be canceled and removed because we say something people don't agree with? Or do you like the censorship? Do you think that this is needed, that you think this makes it a much more pleasant place like Twitter or X or Facebook, and you don't like all of the salacious things? Sound off in the chat. Speaking of that, I want to acknowledge our super chatters here. All right, we have Lar with the $5 super chat. She says, let's see. She says, everyone that has their own opinion, but should all get along and respect each other's thoughts and what's on their mind. All is a good thing. Thank you, Laura. I would totally agree.
Nicole, you said the right word. It's about control ultimately.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, trying to control other people, particularly their thoughts and what they say, is nothing new. It's been going on again since the beginning of time.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm going to quote Dennis Prager: "The only person you will agree with 100% of the time is yourself."
Yep,
that's it. Mm-hmm. Other than that, we are, like you said, a free marketplace. The world, whatever, your family, friends, you can disagree, but when did disagreeing turn into being disagreeable, not liking someone, just because even if you're on the same side, maybe there's some part of that, whatever, on conservative side, there are things we disagree on. Absolutely. And we're all on the same side. But okay, that's just maybe 1 out of 100 things, or whatever, 5 out of 100. So the other 95 are meaningless that you do agree on? I mean, come on.
You're right, Shelley. I mean, when did Americans learn not to take an L?
Right.
I mean, losing is a part of winning, right? The only way that you come back better is that something goes horribly, horribly wrong and you learn the lesson. It seems like we are so careful now not to infringe upon this particular person's feelings and that particular person's feelings, that you really can't even have a clear thought or a robust debate with someone without them trying to burn your house down, quite literally. You know what I mean? We have got to get beyond this point where discourse is something that's frowned upon.
We have a couple other super chats here. Jay Hunter with a $2 super chat says everybody is bending the knee. All right. Yep, I agree there. We have Gimpy with the $5 super chat says Dana White, longtime Trump ally, joined Meta's board. Also, Zuck is facing antitrust hearings. Yeah, good comment there.
Well, wait a minute, KJ, before we go. Oh, we have another one.
Yeah, we have a couple here. $2 super chat from Laura. Trump is back. Yes, he is.
Yes. Oh, wait a minute, Laura. Let me just say how back he is.
Oh, yeah.
He's good. I'm going to keep saying he's delectable.
Laura, Trump is back. Yep.
But I do want to just remind you all.
Vita with the $5 super chat says I voted for Trump and a lot of California counties turned red for the first time. I've had no power since 8 p.m. last night and spotty cell service. I am sorry to hear that, Vita. We're praying for all of you guys out there and hopefully everything gets back to the normal, right? Jay Hunter says they should change their show from The View to Delusional.
That's
right,
a good
Jay?
idea.
Thank you. $5 super chat. All right, Laura says Sonny Holston is married to a crook.
Allegedly.
Yeah, the news broke. I want to just connect with that really quickly. So news broke, if you guys don't know, that Sonny Holston's husband, who is an orthopedic surgeon, is being sued for allegedly committing insurance fraud. Right. So he and a bunch of other providers have been accused of insurance fraud. It's actually one of the largest RICO cases of its kind in New York history. So we will continue to follow that story. It's very ironic, though. I mean, you have Sonny Holston who gets on. She's like holier than thou. You know, she's talked about all the lawfare against Trump as being, as being okay and it's warranted and so on and so forth. Well, now it has totally changed. They're coming for her husband, which I'm sure she says is not, it's not right. But they are. So my how the chips can.
They would not come. They would not come unless they had the information. It is so in medical circles. You fail a little audit, then we come back and we do a bigger audit, and then we come back and do what we call a white glove audit. And that white glove audit is when we go through your medical records with a fine tooth comb. And there are so many regulations. It's so very easy.
I was going to say that.
I agree, especially with the insurance fraud piece. You know, with insurance fraud, what they do is they don't generally bring a case or anything unless they have found something. And then what they do is they let you dig a hole. So they may let you go off with one thing. They may, that raises a red flag and say, oh, okay, well, maybe that was a mistake or what have you. But when they see a pattern is when they bring charges, and generally there's something there. So we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. All right, I have to be the contrarian to this, right? While I agree with what you all are saying, I guess in theory or even in actuality, I'm still going to withhold some skepticism to say that in this day and age, our government has been doing a whole lot of things, accusing people, racking up charges, things like that. I don't know her husband.
Government.
Yeah, it's federal RICO. These are RICO charges.
Well, that's what but it's a civil case as well. The insurance.
Yeah, but it's part of federal charges. Yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah. But I know that I'm not saying that they are guilty or not guilty. Whatever. But I do know there are some. You mentioned the regulations. There are so many regulations. Yes, they do probably have some evidence, but there are so many regulations, and this is not just medically, but in this case, yes, it's probably easy to trying to dot the I's and cross the T's. And again, mistakes can happen. Again, I'm just withholding a little bit of skepticism until, maybe it goes to court or whatever the case may be. Yeah. But aside from that, Sonny Holston and her husband, they can afford the lawyers, but we need you all to buy our merchandise. Okay.
Listen.
We need you all to buy our merchandise. Go to popandpoliticslive.com, click that shop button. And again, you can purchase shirts like this. We have got mugs.
No.
Oh, okay.
We have mugs. Right. We have
but again, popandpoliticslive.com and
Absolutely.
shop.
Listen, King Day is coming up, and you want to buy a King Day gift for the person in your life. There's that. If you're not able to bring your boo cakes, your honey pie, and all that to inauguration festivities, this is a great makeup gift, right? It's a great makeup gift here. So this is one way that you can help support what we do here at Pop and Politics.
And it goes good with honey.
Shelly and this honey.
All right. We do have a couple other super chats here I want to acknowledge. Rhonda McCarroll with the $2 super chat says Sunny needs to shut up. Her husband is in trouble. Yeah, I know. All right. And let's see here. We have Laura with the $5 super chat says, I don't even watch the regular news. YouTube is where it is at. All right, Laura.
Got you.
Yes, indeed. Vita with the $5 super chat says, Black independent media has chosen not advance the race, but it is talking about Diddy fighting each other for content. We need more critical thinking.
Absolutely.
We certainly do. And more diversity of thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do. Laura with the $5 super chat says, everyone has their own opinion, but should all get along and respect each other's thoughts. All is good thing. Yep, we got that one already. Yes, indeed, Laura. Brown Eyes with the $5 super chat says, I don't like what Whoopi said about Musk. That was a dangerous accusation. Oh, yeah, I didn't even see that. I didn't catch the whole show. Rico Wright with the $10 super chat says, hello, ladies. You all look beautiful tonight. Nicole, Lord mercy has smoking hot. Woo! I think censorship should be removed, but you should have a choice on what you can see. Great point. Exactly. Great point. Yes, indeed. All right, Tina with the $10 super chat says, Sunny is getting her karma. Beautiful thing. Duck, Sunny. I agree. I'm sorry. I agree. Laura says, we love you, Pop and Politics. We love you too. Yes, love you back. All right. Thank you guys so much. This is our first live show for the new year. Yep. So we're celebrating, and Nicole is the newest full-time host. So we give her some love. Yes, indeed.
I made the cut, y'all. I made the
Oh
cut.
my God.
We didn't have any doubt.
Thank you, sir.
There was no doubt.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, indeed. We're excited. Guys, we're going to have some great content for you all this year. We're going to be as hard-hitting as we were last year. We're going to talk about all of the topics and news that you want to hear. Sound off in the chat. What are some issues, some news stories that you want us to focus on this year, in the next coming days, in the next coming weeks? Let us know. You guys are what keeps us here on YouTube. We really appreciate you all. Your super chats, your likes, your comments. It's all good. Even the ones that don't agree. We love it because we love to debate. We're critical thinkers here, as we've said on the broadcast tonight. And we're going to keep it coming. We're going to attack. We are on the attack this year, attack the bureaucracy, and we are on a mission of truth. All right. So we are going to keep it going. Going to change gears a little bit and talk about Zendaya. So you guys know actress Zendaya. She's engaged now. She came out and acknowledged or made the announcement she's engaged to her co-star, Tom Holland, from Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Here he is there. There they are. They actually make a really cute couple. Cute. Mm-hmm. Yes, they do. She shared her ring on the red carpet this week. I believe it was at the Golden Globes. That's her. And look at look at the tweet. So this tweet got a lot of firestorm. It says, let me see here. We got to see it one moment. It says here, this was a tweet that garnered a lot of firestorm on it. Okay, it says, see how Zendaya got a ring instead of a baby. Yeah. So people went nuts over that. People were upset because they were like, well, what do you mean? Why is it a big deal that she got a ring? And they were talking about the culture we have now where a lot more baby showers, we see that before marriage. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to open it up to you all. What do you think about this idea. People were upset that was said, and why were so many triggered? Why were so many women triggered by this, Nicole?
I think because to a large degree, some people felt like they were being called out. You know, if you went the route of having a child without having the relationship, without having the stability of a marriage, personal choice, you know, again, personal choice comes with its own repercussions, right? People really are raw about that, especially women. They're like, what, you calling me out? Why can't we just be happy for this girl that she got a ring? And even if she got a ring and a baby, because we don't know there's no baby. We don't know that.
Right.
You know? But again, we're going back to a place where people feel judged automatically by a comment. It wasn't necessarily aimed at anyone in particular. Some people took that as a personal affront. How dare this random poster say anything about me having a baby before I got a ring? This is our culture. We have gotten so touchy, so easily offended by words. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on this, Shelley? Was the tweet wrong?
No, I don't even think Zendaya. She didn't do that tweet as far as I saw it.
No, it was a random post
about.
Well, let me just give my full disclaimer. I don't even know who Zendaya is until KJ. You know, I'm serious. I didn't know who she was. I thought it was Zoe Saldana when I first saw the word.
I thought it was what's her face's daughter, Lisa Bonet's little girl.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, but I mean, it's nothing wrong with the comment. It's certainly nothing wrong with her getting a ring before for having the baby. The people who are offended falsely or they want to live vicariously, ultimately, maybe it's just jealousy. I mean, this is a young couple. They look cute. I don't know. I don't even know the guy. I don't even know. I mean, just by name, maybe if a movie you said Spider-Man or something.
He was
in the latest iteration.
Okay.
You know, they're a huge couple.
It's a non-issue. Again, people may have been jealous. Mostly women, I would assume, mostly women. But even if you did not have a marriage or you had a baby out of wedlock, okay, so what? Do the best with what you have, and maybe even the repercussions that came from your choices. Do the best. Do better. This is not your life. This is their life. And this is their choice that they are happy about. And newsflash, this used to be the culture, the customs, if you will, in our country. Not just in our country, in the world.
Well, let's talk about that because it did. I mean, we talk about this a lot on the show, how, the culture has changed dramatically. It used to be the culture, how you get married, first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes the baby. That's kind of like the thing it's been. And we've kind of moved away from that, specifically in our community where, a lot of people are having babies out of wedlock. Not even, it's not even so much so anymore a thing on income. Now women, older women with money, with means are choosing to go the route without marriage, without a man at all, and just, have these babies. So, I mean, we've seen, however, with that, it's been, you listen to people like Thomas Sowell and other people, that it's been kind of detrimental to our community. A lot of communities are, within our community, women are going that route, and it's tough. It's hard. So do you think that schools should include marriage and family planning in the curriculum as part of preparing young people for adulthood now?
I think...
He's killing
Rico, right?
Rico's making go right. Wait a minute, who's pudding? Like, who's pudding?
We know who's pudding.
Plus, he's making
because you earned it, Nicole.
So let me say this. There was a time in the school curriculums where home economics, things like that, marriage and family were taught as a part of, I guess, a broader lesson, right? Yeah. Or it was taught as these are the ways most communities and societies have been formed, and the next generations, things like that, passing on values and things like that. I don't think public schools, if they're going to teach marriage and family, then that's going to open up the door for everybody else. Well, you got to teach other ways too, which is where we've been. We've already been there. Let's leave if this is the only thing we want taught, then let's leave it to the family, to the communities, to the churches, or whatever your religious institution may be. Leave it there and just keep the schools for reading and writing and arithmetic and some science.
Right.
Well, life skills is important, right?
Yeah.
And there are so many life skills that we need to teach children, like how to file your taxes, how to balance it. We don't even have textbooks anymore, but how to keep track of your money, how to invest, how to do very simple things like drive without the GPS, how to read a map, right? How to drive on snow. That would have come in so handy this week.
Yeah.
Would have come in so handy this week. Those are the kind of things that I think that should be in our public schools.
Right.
That if you go to a private school, then those private schools will teach the love, marriage, then baby carriage. And my personal opinion is that love and marriage should definitely come before baby. And the reason is babies are incredibly expensive. This is the part they don't tell you. It's not just the pushing it out. No, it's a beautiful baby. You're looking at maybe $500,000 worth of money that's cooing in your arms. You have to take care of this baby. You have to feed it, clothe it, love it, educate it. And that doesn't stop when they're 18. That goes on. It's a lifetime of
We're
money.
seeing a culture here that does downplay marriage, and sometimes they even make it like, bad thing that you're getting married before having a baby. So what can we do to counter those narratives, specifically in the Black community? We do see a large portion of single moms, and now people are doing it by choice. It is a choice, but like you mentioned, I totally agree. The goal should be to get married first.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that should be the goal. And by the way, I still have maps. I have them in my car. Literal paper maps. But that should be the goal, right?
It's no longer the goal.
It's no longer the goal. I think maybe like religious schools and churches and other religious institutions are going to teach it, and they should. I'm not saying they shouldn't. Maybe we need to, is there a better way to teach it? When I say that, like you said, at least in the Black community, it's kind of upside down, right? So there's a point at what we call the Laffer curve, a point at diminishing returns of whatever the choices may be. So a community as a society can sustain some negative things up to a certain point. After that certain point, whatever it may be, you're going to start seeing the diminishing returns of those choices. So maybe we can teach it and present it in a different way that will make sense, not just do this or don't do this because I said so. I mean, I'm not saying that that's not a part of it. I don't know what the answer is, but I think part of it is the teaching. Part of it is the demonstration. Meaning what we're doing as a society, as a family, as a community, to, collectively. That's a part of it. Just putting it in the schools is not the only way.
Yeah, I think it's a community thing too. Also, mostly because it destabilizes our culture, right? And that's what we have. We have this destabilized culture where everything is a little topsy-turvy. You see these memes all the time where like the guy's like, well, here, I bought the kids some food, but I didn't buy food for these other two kids. And then the girl's mad, the guy's mad, the kids aren't eating. And it's a breakdown of our societal structure, especially in our community, in the Black community, right? You think about it, way back when I was a child, when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, right? You had a family. You had aunts and uncles and cousins and neighbors and fake cousins and all of that. And all of those people helped you grow and mature. What we have now is people who very rarely leave their house. And when they do, they've got their head on a swivel, right? Or they're down here with the phone. And I saw a guy tonight almost get killed on his motorcycle because, believe it or not, he was riding a motorcycle and looking at his cell phone.
Wow.
So we're not as connected as a community anymore. This destabilization has left us to our own devices. And I don't think it's a good thing. Exactly. I don't think it's a good thing at all.
Well, guys, what do you all think? Do you think that we should start as a society to encourage marriage more before having a baby? Because right now it does seem topsy-turvy. Sound off in the chat. We want to hear from you and get those likes up. Guys, that helps to amplify our voice here on YouTube, and we want to get independent voices larger platforms. So please hit that like button and subscribe if you have not done so already. What are you waiting for? Folks, these conversations that we're having tonight, we share these. We have several other channels here on YouTube that may explore them a little deeper, a little more deeply. So check out, I have KJ Christian Conservative, where I explore these types of conversations from a biblical perspective. We also have Just the Guys podcast here. They explore different talks and discussions from a male perspective. Then we also have the All American Talk Show here. Great show that delves deeply into news and pop culture, but they bring you the facts and the details from a conservative perspective. And the list goes on. These are the shows we have. So if you like this program, please subscribe to those programs and check them out. Want to take a look at our super chats. Vita says, "Be home before the street lights come
That's
on."
what they called it. That's what they were called.
Vita.
Yeah, the culture.
Absolutely. Right. All right. Kung Fu CJ says, "Talk about these no good preachers." I certainly agree.
Fill up a show.
Absolutely. All right. Chadwick with the $5 super chat says, "Congratulations, Nicole.
You, Chadwick.
You are a welcomed addition here at Pop in Politics." All right.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. $2 set says, "A hot dog will holler," or hit dog will holler. Yep. We agree, Chadwick. Thank you so much. Rico with the $2 says, "Congratulations, Puddin'. You earned it." Yes, indeed.
I'm still blushing.
Vita with the $5 super chat says, "California passed a law starting in 2025 that foster parents have to take a pledge to allow kids that have trans surgery." That is crazy.
California's lost it. They really have.
$5 super chat from Chadwick. Thank you. Says they are not choosing to be single. They would be with somebody if they could get the person they wanted. That person doesn't want them. Ew,
okay, well, then don't make the baby first.
Right.
I mean, whatever.
The truth of the matter is, it's 2024. Ain't nobody surprised pregnant.
Right.
Come on now. There's no surprise.
And ain't nobody surprised ejaculating.
Hello. Okay.
Brown Eyes with the $5 super chat says, "Nicole, I agree. Finances and generational wealth should be taught."
Sis.
Speaking of that, guys, we want to share with you a financial seminar coming up. Here we have the link here for you. It's a financial seminar, Financially Thrive in 2025. It's a free webinar series, and it's your chance to take control of your financial future. Over 6 weeks, you'll gain essential strategies such as manage and eliminate debt, build a solid savings plan, start investing, and more. So definitely that's the link there. Thrive in 2025.eventbrite.com. You can go there, click on that link and get more information. It's a great way to take charge, take action, and take control of your finances. So check that out there. Great to register. This is going to be a phenomenal program.
Yeah, I see that.
Yes, it is.
Parenting, paying bills, all of the stuff. We were just talking about life skills,
right? One more thing I want to say about babies before marriage or after marriage, whatever. There's a culture, a mindset, and I think it's been a long time, particularly in the Black community, that having a baby is just something that's cute. And it's decorative, and it's just, I think we need to definitely get out of that mindset. Yeah, children are cute, babies are cute. I think all babies are cute. Some people don't up here on this panel. I won't say no names over here, right? They don't think all babies are cute. But I do. I think all babies are cute in their own way. But it's not just about a cute baby and whatever the what is it, gender reveal now? And you got the baby. It's not. A baby is a human being with tremendous needs. Okay, we all know that, but I think that's the mindset that needs to shift back to this is what a baby needs. This is what a baby really needs, and a baby needs a mom and a dad.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I think about getting honest. That's one of the things that we need to do in 2025. Stop all these little fairy tales, like you have this baby and it's going to sleep all night and it's not going to have any health problems. None of that is
still
true.
Sleep deprived.
Listen, I'm still trying to catch up, right? The problem is that we allow this kind of foolishness to happen instead of keeping it a buck with our folks, keeping it 100 with your kids, especially teenage kids. When they're in that dating and talking stage and all of that, we got to be very honest with them about the things that are going on. I
agree. And what you're talking about, Shelley, is it's actually that idea, that concept that some young people have, it is actually an example of there's something wrong, there's something missing. They are wanting, they are lacking generally a male point of view in their life, a father figure, or sometimes a mother figure.
Right.
And so this is why you find that these people want babies. It used to be where you would fantasize about your guy. You want to get married. You want a nice guy.
You want to be a princess and all that stuff.
And that's all fallen by the wayside. And now we have this out of order thing where they're wanting babies before they even have the guy. And it's really sad, but it's so it's a prime example of how we have fallen away from God's design for our lives. You know, even when you get married, and this is something I had to learn, the husband still comes before the kids.
Absolutely.
This is biblical.
Absolutely.
You know, a lot of women, especially if you were brought up in single mom households, as I was, you think that it's all about the children, and it's not. And it's and when you grow up this way, and this is what's pushed on you, it's very hard to switch your thinking to put your husband first, and the children come next. But I mean,
that's why I don't believe in child-centered homes.
Yeah,
that's what I say.
It's exactly. And then KJ, one of the other things that I wanted to touch on with that is when you start to lose that connection with your partner as the children start to come, it puts your marriage at risk. You know, it really does. Having someone that you share your life with, right? Whether you're married, cohabitating, you know, booed up, whatever your situation is a blessing. Having someone in your life, sharing the details of your life, someone you can go home to, get on the phone with, tell them how your day was. All of that is very important. Children having to do that with their parents, very important. But children interact with their mother and father differently. And their parents interact differently. And what we have is maybe 3-4 generations right now who don't understand what that relationship is like with a father. Especially little girls, they go out here and pick the wrong man over and over and over again. And they have the wrong mores. And if they do find Mr. Right, and you know, I hate to say it, I've been watching an awful lot of that show. I think it's called At Whatever. You know, they've got these girls that do OnlyFans talking to regular people and trying to find some middle ground. There's no middle ground. There's no middle ground.
Wow.
But what you hear is the brokenheartedness. I met this great guy. I liked him very much. I thought things were going well. And then he left me, right? And they don't understand that what these men are hearing them say is, I'm a princess, I'm a princess, pay all my bills and take me out and buy me nice things, and nothing there to build a decent relationship on. Nothing to build a relationship
And speaking of OnlyFans, and also somebody who actually got it right, take a look at this clip. This is clip 13.
I just wondered, I can't see it on the menu, but where do I get the 5 guys from? The 5 guys. I didn't know if there was like a special room where you can take me out back.
No, I don't think that's happening.
What about after your shift? I mean, I'd want to give you, a good rating.
I'm a Christian man and I'm saving myself to marriage.
I'm asking for what's on the menu, that's all.
Genuinely, I feel like I'm doing it right now. I can hand you a menu if you want.
Are you on it?
No, I'm not.
Oh, that's a shame.
So this was a woman. She is actually the second largest OnlyFans creator. She kind of is like a prostitute, and she wanted to film herself having sex with someone that works at a restaurant. This was part of the OnlyFans thing. So she goes into this 5 guys, and she's trying to pretty much she's asking this guy if he would have sex with her, and he turned her down cold. He said, no, I'm waiting for marriage. I'm a Christian and I'm waiting for marriage.
So this wasn't a joke.
No.
I mean, I know she recorded it, but she didn't record it just to see what his reaction
was. No. This is what she does.
She would have posted that on her OnlyFans page.
Right.
So that's what I was saying. That this little show, internet podcasty thing, is they have a bevy, a panel of these women, and they're trying to figure out why they can't get high dollar men.
Oh, you're talking about whatever podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting social experiment because you see these young girls that they have, I'm working on my master's degree, but in the meantime, I want to see if I can put this microwave in my vagina. I mean, it's like the weirdest stuff you
This
ever
is where
heard.
we've gone. This is where it is a commoditization of the human body.
Okay.
You can be bought and sold, really modern day slavery.
That's what
it is. You there's a price for you, and these young women think that they can get out here and really run run their bodies down with sex, with eroticism, anything they can do to make money, and then they get on that whatever podcast trying to find a man, and nobody wants them because nobody no respectable man wants somebody that's been run through. But back to this.
I'm sorry. So I thought when I saw that, I thought she was just doing to see his reaction. Like
she was being
really
serious.
I do. Outside of all of the cultural, debauchery, the upside downness, if you will, in our culture, a big part of this lends itself to social media in general.
Absolutely.
Period. I don't know the show you're talking about, but things, and I'm not saying they shouldn't be on, but this proliferation of social media, and we're talking about young people, that's what they're connected to, right?
Yeah.
This is what's feeding them. I mean, what else do they need to do? They're engrossed in it. They have it, morning, noon, or night. How about taking the social media from your young kids in particular, right? How about not taking them to the library to get a book? I mean, I still go to the library myself, right? Literally getting hard copy books. But we have to turn it around some kind of way.
Right.
Starting with social media, for all the good, there's probably double the bad.
Well, it's not just social media, though. I mean, we're talking about pornography. I mean, this is OnlyFans, a good portion of it is pornography, and this is what she was trying to do. It had nothing to do with social media, really.
But pornography. Remember, KJ, pornography's been around. It used to come in what the brown bags in the mail or whatever.
Well,
However they sent it.
There was this thing we had back in the day called shame.
Right.
So we don't have that anymore.
No, we don't.
But let me tell you what shame was like.
But I'm saying, even though pornography's been around, children have been around.
No, it's not social media.
Well, okay, you're right. The internet.
The internet. Yeah. It's brought into everybody.
It's a bigger call for parenting, right?
Right.
If you don't go to Shonda's Thrive in 2025, webinar, she's going to do a lot for you in this moment. But parenting is something, especially in today's day and time, where you have financial obligations you have to meet, other things you're doing in the community. You have to literally make time to parent your children, because here's this: kids nowadays are incredibly busy too.
Right.
They've got homework, they've got this, and the third. You have to find time to connect with your children and share information with them.
Right.
And one of the things that the redeeming quality of the podcast, because it's incredibly entertaining, because some of the things they say, I'm like, what? But the men on there are men. These are not beta dudes by any stretch of the imagination. And they call them out. They're like, girl, and you're wanting to date who?
Right.
And you said something, Nicole, and I mean, we're all parents here. You said something, you have to find time to parent your child. I'm not disagreeing with you, but it's interesting the way I guess you had to phrase that, because parenting, you didn't necessarily have to, quote unquote, make time to be a parent. Now we have, I got a parent, I got to do this. Parenting used to be, I had a baby, I'm a parent, I got to figure this out,
But this is where is where we go back to. Right now, we are in a time period where, yes, parenting used to be something you just did, but now there are so many obstacles to parenting. Right. You have social media. You have, bullying and stuff like this online. I mean, now you have online, just the internet, the phones, they have really everything.
It's the world inside of your home.
There's so much now that you do have to make time to parent. You have to make sure you're looking at all this stuff and making sure they're not on this and not on that. I mean, it is a job. I mean, it's always been a job, but it is a little bit more involved, I think now. And then to have so many in our community that are doing it alone makes it even more difficult. So, I mean, there's so much that goes into it. We can continue with.
I want just a lie that we have allowed ourselves to believe.
Which is it?
I'm not saying that we don't do all those things or have to, but I wonder if it's a lie that is so hard now. because I think we have allowed all of these things to consume us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We, even as parents, we didn't say, nope. I appreciate the Amish, the Mennonites, the Jesuits more and more as their simplicity, their focus, no TVs or limited, whatever. I'm just wondering, is that a lie that we have allowed ourselves to believe?
I think it depends on the goal. So I have friends who are Jehovah's Witnesses, and their children go to school, go to elementary, middle, high school, and then their thing to do when they graduate is to go off to Jehovah's Witness school, and then they become sort of like a missionary.
Yep.
It's not trying to get into a big college. It's not trying to get some fabulous job. It's not trying to be the athlete in the school. So it just depends. I mean, but then you do have some girls, some boys, some people want to be doctors. Some people want to be lawyers.
Right.
Then the competition for all these things is much harder. I was talking to somebody the other day who was talking about their college student and how now, when we applied to college, you had to literally, it was a whole process and you had to take time and apply to each one.
Yes,
now they have it. So you go online, you have all the colleges listed. It's just like a click of a button and then you can just send all of your stuff off. So it's actually made it easier for people to apply to more colleges at once, which makes it more competitive. So I mean, it's just a lot of stuff. It just depends on what you want to do.
And even then, even thinking about raising a child now, everything is competitive, and you got to start your kids small. Like if you think your kid has some kind of athletic prowess, you're going to start feeding them a different way and exercising and running and doing all the things that sport requires at a much younger age. Again, back when I was young, when dinosaurs roamed the earth, if you had athletic ability, it was usually a coach who was like, "Hey, you can catch."
But that's
you
what
want to be a wide receiver.
Again, I'm not poo-pooing or anything like that. It's not even about judgment. What I'm asking is, are we allowing ourselves to believe the lie that that's the only way now, that, like you said, back in coaches or teachers or whomever? What about children having natural abilities in sports, in science, things like that? Years ago, decades ago, it kind of just developed, if you will.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say so much on its own, but there were mentors, people that they could talk to one-on-one in the school, in the churches, things like that, in the community. And then, they follow whatever career path they chose. It wasn't this push from the time they were pushed out. I mean, literally, it wasn't this push like, oh, I see you did, so I got to put them in. It wasn't all of that, which it just wasn't that I don't know, that frenetic.
Right. The world is moving at a much faster pace.
It is.
And the world is much smaller.
What are we having them keep up with?
China, Russia. You see China, you see Russia. They're starting these children as soon as they walk, they're on their computers. They're doing athleticism. The world has become global now.
Right.
And so many people are trying to compete on a global scale. However, I agree with you to a certain extent. A lot of it is due to money. It's a money grift.
100%.
And so we know a lot of this stuff you're putting your kids in swimming and soccer and baseball and dance and gymnastics, and all this stuff costs money. And so they are trying, it is a bit of a money grift. And I think a lot of parents have to decide on what is really needed or what is kind of like,
it's a vicious cycle, right?
Yeah.
So your kid wants to play, like my daughter plays 7 instruments, right? And, she didn't have any innate musical ability, but she said, I'll try the flute because it's light, right? So we got the flute. And she's, screeching and crying with the flute. Then she went to the trombone. Then she didn't like trombone. She went to the trumpet. And she just kind of made her way, through all of these musical instruments. And for me, it was like, okay, she wants to play something else. Now I got to find another $1,500. I got to work an extra shift. Whatever I had to do meant that I took time away from her to make the money so she could change the things.
Trade-off.
So it's a trade-off, and it's a vicious cycle because the more accomplished and well-rounded you'd like your child to be, there's a lot of revenue that has to go into that, and somebody's got to earn it.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to earn the money. It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think in the chat? I see you guys with your super chats. Let's see what you guys are saying here. All right. So we have here, all right. Let's see. Laura with the $2 super chat says, sadly, kids are raising kids. That's true there too, Laura. Certainly agree there. All right. Jay Hunter with the $5 super chat says, I think people should just mind their business. Therefore, they won't get triggered about other people's marriage. You're right. You're right, Jay.
100%.
All right. Jay with the $5 super chat says, I would love for you guys to invite my boy Anton Daniels as a guest on the show. Well, you have to comment and let him tag us in his videos. We've reached out to him previously, so hopefully
help
he'll
us
come
out,
on.
Jay.
Yeah. All right. Rhonda McCarroll with the $10 super chat says, like, subscribe, and share. Back to school, old school.
Oh, go back to old school.
Go back.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
Certainly, we agree, Rhonda. All right, Chadwick with the $10 super chat says the side of that they don't really like to talk about, KJ, is the fact that they have these children so they can have someone to take care of them in their old age because they don't have a spouse. Wow. Okay. All right, Chadwick. Vita with the $5 super chat says California new laws. Oh, we did that one.
No, that's another one.
Oh, school officials.
No, that's a different one.
Let's put that back up, please.
It says California school officials don't have to tell parents about kids wanting transgender surgery. I think that is true. Yeah, we talked about that previously. All right, so we're going to move right along to we're getting back into politics with Trump.
Oh,
So,
wait a minute.
Let her get her honey together.
Oh, delectable.
All right, so Trump, folks, it's going to be a crazy year. It is going to be a wild 2025.
It's already rocking.
Trump has come in with a bang. He's back to doing press conferences. He's back to shutting down the media, the leftist media, with their stupid questions. He is back and he is better than ever. And now they're talking about Greenland. So Trump has said that he wants to annex Greenland. And here he is. Let's take a look at exactly what he said. This is clip 11. All right.
Okay.
Well,
anyway,
what he said was
Greenland.
Yeah. So yeah.
What he said is we should annex Greenland.
Yeah. So that's basically what he said. He said that the U.S. uses Greenland's northern border to protect Arctic shipping. Officially, it's Danish territory. It's home to a huge U.S. space base.
Yes.
Russia and China have drawn interest in Greenland due to Arctic shipping. And so he basically said, we need this territory. Shelley?
Please.
Back on Greenland, your position is clear, but have you directed your staff to take specific actions to draw plans? And can you elaborate again? You didn't rule out military coercion.
Well, we need Greenland for national security purposes. I've been told that for a long time, long before I even ran. I mean, people have been talking about it for a long time. You have approximately 45. Please.
Back on Greenland, your position is clear, but have you directed your staff to take specific actions to draw plans? And can you elaborate again? You didn't rule out military coercion.
Well, we need Greenland for national security purposes. I've been told that for a long time, long before I even ran. I mean, people have been talking about it for a long time. You have approximately 45,000 people there. People really don't even know if Denmark has any legal right to it. But if they do, they should give it up because we need it for national security. That's for the free world. I'm talking about protecting the free world. You look at, you don't even need binoculars. You look outside, you have China ships all over the place. You have Russian ships all over the place. We're not letting that happen. We're not letting it happen.
Wow. So I'm all for it. I mean, Greenland is Viking.
Love it.
It's Viking land. Let's do it.
First of all, look, if Putin did not and does not want Ukraine to be on his borders with NATO, then damn it, Trump says we're going to get Greenland. And Jing, you're on the other side of the world. We don't want you off the shores in Greenland this close to the U.S. You're already in that country sending your drones. Oh no, Trump is not having it. I love it.
honey shot.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good. Take it. We need to take it. Trump is not joking.
Yes.
Listen,
Nicole.
I think it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful idea. It's not solely Trump's. I think it was Andrew Johnson. I think it's like president number 17 in 1867, give or take, who made the first offer. Then again, Harry Truman in the late 40s, I think 46 or 47, made an offer to Greenland. I think we need it, as Trump is saying, for national security. Here you are. It's a hop, skip, and a jump, right? We've got Europe, we've got China, we've got everything we need on this nice little island. And yes, it does have some resources, but United States is resource rich, for lack of a better term. But for us, it's about not only securing the United States, but everything in the Western Hemisphere, right? When we talk about the Monroe Doctrine, let's go back to middle school right quick. People, especially Latin American countries, say, oh, that's very paternalistic and America thinks they're the boss of everybody. But the reason why you sleep at night without being invaded and goose stepping, you know what I mean? Or learning some new Szechuan words from China is because the United States protects you.
Yeah.
And in order to continue to do that, we have absolutely positively get Greenland and Panama Canal.
Well, everyone is not everyone is happy about this this announcement. This is Joy Reid having a fit about this. Clip 3.
I'm the guy who was worried about Trump attacking Iran, Trump starting a war with China. I did not have it on my bingo card for war with Denmark and Panama in 2025. From the guy, as you said, who was supposed to be the No More Wars president. I had leftist friends of mine, Muslim friends of mine saying, well, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris have been so hawkish. At least Donald Trump, he'll be anti-war. He's not even president yet. Yeah. And he's saying, I can't rule out military action against a fellow NATO member, Denmark. By the way, the national security argument is so absurd to take in Greenland because it's like, oh, well, Russia and the Arctic. I thought Russia's Trump's pal. I thought Putin's not aggressive. And here's an interesting point. What do Musk, Putin, Trump all agree on? Don't defend Ukraine. Just roll over for Russia. And they argue it on the grounds that we shouldn't be involved in foreign wars. We shouldn't be sending our money to Ukraine. How much do you think it costs to buy Greenland? Like $1 trillion, according to the Financial Times. Who's paying for that? The whole thing is so absurd that we have to keep reminding ourselves, pinching ourselves, that this is not normal. No other president-elect, including George W. Bush, who basically stole an election and was thicker than any president who came before him. Even he didn't have a transition like this, right? So we just have to keep reminding ourselves that even as we talk about this stuff, Greenland, Panama, war with Allah, we are in upside down world.
We are, and it's also hard to discern what it is that some of these men want, right? Elon Musk is either just a self-aggrandizing, he's just talking and he just wants to control the world just for his own whatever purposes of feeling powerful because he's bored, right? Or he has some bigger picture because you mentioned George Soros. He is still banging on and on and on about George Soros and all of these conspiracy theories of white replacement theory. And it's global white replacement theory. It's Muslims who are going to suddenly replace all of the Europeans. And there will be every, one in the UK will be named Muhammad and there'll be no more Johns and Jameses, right? And they're spreading that meme, the idea that George Soros is somehow funding some secret cabal to replace all of white Europeans with people from Syria. That's part of what his push is too, along with, screaming about birth rates in Western countries. It's hard to decide what is the overall philosophy, but it ain't anything good.
No, it ain't anything good. And I think you can split it between, is he becoming more of a, what's the phrase, red-pilled? Is he radicalizing himself in real time? As Trump did. By the way, all these people are like former liberals or centrists, whatever you want to call it. Yes. They were not right-wing Republicans when they started out. Donald Trump, Elon Musk, RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard. They're all radicalizing themselves and coming to the same positions, as you said, to the Putins and Orbans of this world, the great replacement stuff. The anti-Muslim stuff is a common theme, whether you're in Germany, whether you're in the US. In the UK, he spent the last few days 200, 300 times tweeting about Muslim rape gangs and Pakistani immigrants and Labour selling votes for Muslims and raping white children.
Wow. Absolutely. So we got to unpack this. And this is what we were talking about earlier. We were talking about, you had Sonny hosting talking about, the mainstream media has journalists that fact check. That discussion was full of lies, full of misinformation, and they're on a mainstream platform, MSNBC, and we got to unpack it.
But KJ, it was not misinformation. It was disinformation. It was deliberately false. They know doggone well they were not telling the truth. No! She's a race hustler and a grifter of the highest order. And, I'm not trying to be a mean person, but if you turn the volume off and watch that, it's going to be frightening.
Oh, yeah.
It's absolutely frightening.
Oh, my gosh. Shelly,
you were saying something about the...
Yeah, I was talking about, first off, the whole thing about what he was talking about Russia and saying that Trump said that he loved Putin. He never said that. He said that he has a respect for him and that he can, he has his relationship is one that he's not afraid of him and that he's going to tell him like it is. He's going to be able to do some type of agreement with this and end this war. He did not say that Putin is his best friend, but the lying mainstream leftist media keep pushing this lie.
And let's get something straight. The USA pays about 16 to 20% of the budget of NATO, whereas the other members pay 2% if they pay that at all. So we already pay 8 to 10 times more. In my estimation, in my never to be humble opinion, hell, we already own Greenland. We have bought it at least 8 to 10 times over.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, take it. Yeah, take it.
Well, it is actually, they say if you look through the history, we actually do own Greenland. So people in Greenland have been talking about independence for a long time. Right now, they are a principality of Denmark, but back in the 1800s, it was actually Americans who discovered most of Greenland. Now, look this up. A guy by the name of Charles Francis Hall and Robert Peary were discoverers of a large portion of Greenland. However, you mentioned the Monroe Doctrine, that was involved here. By the 1940s, it was conquered by the Nazis, and we defended it then. And then in 1946, the Chief Joint of Staffs listed Greenland as an important defensive territory.
Yes.
So we did own a large portion of it. I believe it was back in, I want to say the 1800s, late 1800s, when Denmark had claimed it. The U.S. was interested in purchasing the Danish West Indies during World War I, and Denmark required the country to recognize its claim on the whole island. But American discoverers, American colonizers, I guess you could call it, actually discovered a large portion of Greenland.
I could use a trip to Greenland myself. I would love to go.
They got a nice cruise that goes right on up there.
Oh, okay.
It's a Viking cruise.
But pretty soon, we might be just having flights, hop, skip, and jump over to Greenland real quick. From the USA, all your passports already stamped Greenland. Let's go.
Wow.
We can take the show to Greenland.
It's an important
our flag.
it's important to kind of look at this from two perspectives. One, of course, being the money. And then people say, oh, it's going to be expensive. Like the little man said, oh, it's going to be so expensive. It's going to be so expensive. The United States buys what it needs, right? Is it less expensive to have a war with Russia?
Right.
Or war with China? Because let me tell you, they can't continue to saber rattle with us.
Exactly.
Predominantly China. China has made so many moves in our hemisphere that people don't even realize. Oh, yeah. Do you know the reason why Donald Trump is so upset about the Panama Canal is because China has been building infrastructure and commercial products in China from China into Latin American countries. This is a problem for us.
And the Panama Canal was supposed to have been the USA's anyway.
Yes,
right. Take it back.
Jimmy
what
Carter.
Did he say? He wanted to name the
Gulf
of Mexico. He wanted to name it the Gulf of America.
I love that. I love that. I love that.
We fund and support so many countries. Our neighbors, yes. European. Our money is all over the world, and we tend to pay, multiples more than whatever the going rate may be.
And that's very true.
I say, if you've paid for something, particularly 8 to 10 times over what everybody else is supposed to pay, is yours.
And look, President Trump posted on Truth Social on Christmas, Merry Christmas to all, including to the wonderful soldiers of China who are lovingly but illegally operating the Panama Canal. So Gordon G. Chang writes in Newsweek, Almost certainly these are Chinese operatives, as you said, and military personnel in civilian garb. The Panama Canal is a checkpoint that Beijing seeks to control and undoubtedly close off in the moments before the next global war. Trump was right. Therefore, to highlight the issue in his Christmas greeting to China's atheists, Panama has a giant pork chop around its neck. War correspondent Michael Yon, now in the Canal Zone, told me this month. It's called the Panama Canal, and some hungry beast will want to take it. Trump expressed the same sentiment, saying America will never allow the waterway to fall into the wrong hands.
Yes.
So why are these Joy Reid, RB, whatever, Melber, this other gentleman who, why are they against us being a strong nation? Why are they fighting against us winning?
Because they hate America.
Yeah.
They hate our Constitution. They believe that for all of the wealth and status and economic success that they've had, they hate our Constitution. They hate America and everything that she stands for, except keeping themselves in control.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's what I was going to say. This is all about control. Because if Kamala would have had half or maybe 2/3 of a thought about doing anything on the foreign stage and said, Greenland would be good for us to have for national security, she'd be walking around with a Greenland t-shirt on and the hell with the Danish, we're taking this island. This is not about what's right for the country for her. This is about control. Shelley hit on a really good point about how much money we spend on other nations. The United States is an incredible philanthropist, across the world stage. We give more money, and it makes you kind of, in a way, upset when you look at what's going on at home, but all the money we give away. There's a great little website. It's fa.gov or foreignassistance.gov, and you can pick any nation. Let's say, for example, Canada. How much money the United States gives to Canada and what that nation says they spend that money on. It's kind of like our nation's foreign assistance checkbook.
Wow.
Right. And then there are some things on there that just makes your hair curl. Whatever you do, have yourself a strong glass of wine when you put the Ukraine in there, because you're going to lose your mind.
And he's trying to give
how much money the Ukraine has got, not only from the United States, but from people around the world.
Yeah.
We could have bought them another nation.
Exactly.
We could have picked them up, moved them somewhere else for the amount of money that we've wasted on this war.
Well, these Democrats, these leftists running the cities and some of the states around the country are running it all into the hole. I want to acknowledge our super chats here, folks. Thank you guys so much here. All right, let's see who we have. All right, we have Rico with the $5 super chat. Says most adults have no clue on how to properly raise a child, so the cycle will continue. We need a blueprint. Right there with you. I agree, Rico. All right. We have here Laura says Trump is not playing around. He is on a mission.
More honey.
Yes, he
it's
is.
so good.
Yes. All right. Final topic of the night. I want to talk about the Chicago mayor. This man continues to embarrass himself to no end. Recently, he was asked by a news reporter about his poor poll numbers. This was his response, clip 5.
Recent polls show 76% of those surveyed say Chicago would be better off with a different mayor. How do you convince them otherwise?
Well, look, the people of Chicago elected me to invest in people. In every single category as it relates to investments, they're up. I actually am humbled that the people of Chicago believe in my administration enough to have greater expectations than any other administration. That's what leadership looks like, and I'm humbled to do it.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that there's greater expectations? I don't know where I hear that. Because, and then the feedback instead is that the polling is poor. So I don't know how you interpret it that way.
Well, because because I'm a middle child. Maybe it's because I'm a Bears fan. By the way, the Bears are undefeated in 2025.
What?
He got Kamala-itis.
No, he's trying to make it up because he doesn't really have an answer.
Well, he's spinning, and this is
that's
what politicians do.
That's our damn one of them top spins we used to play on. That's what that is.
He spun that question, and when I watched the clip the first time, I was like, man, this guy's, you could catch a breeze off the spin on this. No, they elected me to invest in people. You mean spend their money unwisely and not necessarily invest in the legal people who live there, because he's investing a whole lot in the illegal aliens that have kind of morphed over Chicagoland. The other thing that he said that I thought was very, very interesting is, I'm a middle child. What does that have to do with anything? I don't know, but
middle child syndrome, where middle children, they kind of don't know.
I'm
just saying, what does
even if it was, why would that be your answer?
I don't know. Let me tell you why. He's very politically savvy. I mean, he's absolutely full of BS, but he is incredibly politically savvy. What he did is he didn't answer the question.
Okay.
He spun the question quite reasonably. I was elected to invest in people. Okay. Right.
That was all right.
That was fine.
Right. But did he answer the question? No. And then what he followed up with was, I'm a middle child. Completely changed the topic.
I'm a Bears fan.
Completely changed the topic. Put the reporter on her back foot, and he probably got up, shook her hand, and kept it pushing.
Let me tell you something.
What people do. This is politicians 101.
I am so sick of these leftist bureaucrats. From him, from the girl who, the FBI agent who was on initially at the New Orleans thing, from this nutty fire chief in California who is all about the DEI and the LGBT and all this type of stuff and not about actually providing water and saving lives. I am so sick of these people. I don't feel safe with these people in charge. I really don't. They are so incompetent. And instead of them resting on their laurels, instead of them resting on experience, they start to kind of go down this rabbit hole of things that do not make sense. They're unprofessional. They don't know how to talk to you to provide some type of level of confidence that we believe they know what they're doing. And we see this a lot.
You do?
Because there is nothing there for us to be confident about. Period. And they know it.
So how they get, he got the job. He was elected.
Well, yeah, he was elected. Now we have Chicagoans and whomever else, other cities, they are awakening, right? And they are upset with him, and they're fighting back, pushing back. But he's out of place because he doesn't know, his base doesn't really support him anymore.
Why is it we see this a lot lately? Like when we had 9/11, say what you want about George Bush, say what you want about Rudy Giuliani, but when they got on the mic, you felt confident about what was going to happen. Now, I don't know what they did was, but at least their tone, what they said, it relayed some type of confidence that everything was going to be okay. These nuts.
This is the new generation, KJ. These are the later baby boomers, the younger ones. Most of them, or many of them, are. This is they grew up with a whole different culture, a whole different mindset, a whole different worldview. They think this is what exudes confidence. They think spending money, government money, making it bigger and taking care of everybody and everything with other people's money is the way. It's starting to backfire. And now that Trump is in office, it's coming out. It's a little bit more happening a little bit more rapidly. They don't know what to do.
It's an interesting, and you hit the nail right on the head. It's very interesting, Trump's effect on the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's so interesting. One of the things I think, and KJ, you always ask us this question, is the most underreported story or things that we think aren't being reported appropriately. And one of the big things is, there's no such thing anymore as toxic masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
Men, stand up. Take your place in society. Take your place in your families, in your workplace. It is no longer a tax season on maleness and masculinity. And if you're an alpha male, come to the front. Move to the front of the crowd so we can easily identify you from the soy boys, right? It is time to cut off that man bun and take your place. It really is. And this is, when I say this, I mean that Donald Trump is having an effect. So when you see, even on women, what was that girl's name? Tiffany, whatever, that had the town outside of
Henyard, yeah.
She talked a good game. Oh, she acted like she was the most confident person in the world. And Lori Lightfoot, who I'm no fan of.
Right.
no fan of this woman, but this woman knows what she's doing.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Lori walked in the room and then suddenly everything was getting locked up. She didn't want to talk to people, and now she's shy and
what is his name? Brandon Scott,
Johnson.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
One thing they never counted on, never expected. They never expected the people to start rising up and going against them. Trump has an effect, absolutely, but they didn't think Trump was going to win this time, let alone the first time. They never considered that the people would find their voice, so to speak, and claim we the people, and claim and make the demands that no, you work for us. It's not the other way around.
Exactly.
And we want to know what's going on with our government, where our money's going, and we don't want it to go XYZ. And we're going to make that heard, Brandon Johnson. We're going to show up at your meetings all over this country, wherever they may be. They didn't count on that.
Right. And he doesn't count on people understanding that he's spinning.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I wish the reporter had been a little bit more skilled to kind of, when people are doing that, when people are trying to spin the conversation in a different direction, what she could have done is spun his butt right back around. You know, where the part where he says, well, you know, I'm a middle child and I'm a Bears fan. She could have hit him with, yes, the Bears have a really good winning season this time around. But you know, here's the problem that the Bears have, though, is that economically, they're spending their money on the wrong players, just like you're spin that thing and slap them back with it. But she just kind of let him get away with it. And that happens a lot. And I hate to say it, in Democrat controlled cities with Democrat press, they ask soft shell questions. Right.
Yeah, because they have been doing it all along. They've been feeding the people and coddling them and fear mongering them. But again, that's why they never expected, thanks to Trump, I would say largely thanks to Trump, is that he's making it, you know what? This is your country. You're the people. We owe you an explanation, not the other way around. And so it's taking hold. The Brandon Johnsons, the London Breeds, I think she's out anyway, and other mayors across the country and governors, whomever, they did not expect this rise from the people themselves.
Yeah.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Well, we will continue to follow that story. And also, as you mentioned, Nicole, I want to ask you ladies, what are the stories, or what is a story that you want the audience to look into that is being underreported on? I'll start with you, Shelley.
Here she goes.
Oh, how good Trump is. How good it is that he is in office. It's delectable. I love it. So my underrated story is how sweet it is. How sweet it is.
All right. Nicole, do you have any stories that you think people need to look into?
Absolutely. There has been a concerted push to get all of Trump's nominees confirmed. And so it's a very interesting phenomenon. If you're not familiar with how the Hill works, they do have to lobby legislators and say, you know, I'm going to be good at this. I may need a little help on this other thing. So it definitely is a relationship building situation. The Speaker of the House election that we just had was very interesting, not just because they reelected him. You know, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. But people like me who are not a fan got in line. Now, how does that happen? You know, it's hard to talk a Republican off the elephant. It's hard to talk us out of our position. We dig down and we hold on. I think that there's this movement toward making sure that in this short 4 years that we have to get this agenda done.
Exactly.
And I think that story is going to be underreported from a positive perspective. And I know a lot of groups are pushing, there are petitions going around to make sure that all of the picks, all of the nominees get confirmed. You see them coming out with these little news stories now saying, I think he has enough votes. You know, we're pretty sure she has enough votes. But they have been asked, the nominees themselves, to take a step back from social media. So getting that story out is a little bit slower. And I think it deserves people kind of looking into it.
Okay. Yes, for me, you know, guys, we've seen in 2025, just getting started, we've got some may call two terror attacks. Now people are talking about aliens, and maybe people have seen these more like UFOs sightings. We're hearing a lot of this, and all of this falls into what researchers have called the Project Bluebeam. Definitely research
blue beam.
Blue beam.
Like,
beam. Yeah, this is woman.
She's honey
She's
drunk.
she's honey drunk. Right. But seriously, look into this project Blue Beam. It's designed to bring about a new world order in 4 stages. And these 4 stages, guys, we've seen a lot of this already starting to happen. False flag to false flag to create some type of global new world order. These chemtrails, they talked about that. Undermining existing religious beliefs by staging archaeological discoveries, trying to introduce a new one world religion, and the list goes on. Please research this project Blue Beam. I think by the end of this year, we're going to be pretty close to what this project Blue Beam is talking about occurring. Don't be fooled. And I'm going to leave it there.
Okay.
So that does it for us, folks. We're going to be back on Saturday. We're going to be back live in the studio this Saturday at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. So definitely, please set your notifications to notify you when we go live on Saturday night. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe so that way you get up to the minute content when we post, and we certainly appreciate your support. Check out our website, www.popandpoliticslive.com. Check out our merch, folks.
That's
you
right.
saw Shelly.
Subscribe and shop.
Right. Subscribe and shop. And then we also have the inaugural ball coming up.
Yes.
Nicole, please share.
We are so close to the BCF inaugural gala. It is so amazing. We are going to have so much fun. Our website is www.bcfaction.com. You can get information about who's going to be attending. The list is so long now, I can't even remember everybody who's coming. But the important part is all 5 Black elected Republicans will be there. And if you're a Politico like me, having that picture of you or the ladies of Pop and Politics with the Black 5 elected is a big deal. You know, there'll be some celebrities and folks and whatnot. The most important thing is you're going to have a good time.
Yes,
you will.
I'm just going to dance and have a glass of Prosecco.
I heard that, Kevin Howard Band is going to be providing some smooth.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Full disclosure, he's my brother-in-law, but he is an international recording artist. He is very good at what he does.
Yeah, he is.
And probably one of the most pleasant people you ever want to meet. Something about musicians that they have a different view of the world.
Yeah.
He went from cop to musician. That's a bridge.
Wow.
Right?
Cool.
That's a bridge. Yeah.
Cool. All right. We do have some additional super chats. So I want to shout you guys out. So let's see here.
Yeah.
We have, all right, Tijuana Border Jumper. Hey, $5 super chat says, "You ladies are so beautiful and classy."
Oh,
thank you. All right. We also have Trucker 2022.
Yes.
With the $5 super chat says, "Sheba Dog clapping his hands." All right. And again, as I mentioned earlier, folks, check out our other Metro Conservative Media shows. Again, we have Just the Guys. They will be on Saturday, I believe, as well.
Oh.
We also have the All American Talk Show. They are on. They have a YouTube channel here, and then I have my KJ Christian Conservative. So check out all of our Metro Conservative Media shows. Watch and subscribe. All right, we will see you again on Saturday. You can see all of the shows at mcmshows.com. Yes. All right, so that does it for us. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose.
Bye.
Good night.
My feet. Oh,
My feet are cold. That's why I wear my boots. It's chilly.
Mm-hmm.